Hi, I'm Dave Epstein. Welcome to Growing Wisdom and Mount Auburn Cemetery. Dennis Collins is with me today, and Dennis, we are going to be talking drought-tolerant plants. So first thing we want to do, define drought-tolerant.
When people talk about drought tolerance in horticulture, they're coming from two directions. One is ecological responsibility, meaning the sensible use of water, which in many cases is a limited resource. But on the other hand, there's coming at it from the perspective of lower maintenance. And at Mount Auburn Cemetery, frankly, we do not have the resources to water everything. It's necessary for us to look for drought tolerance in plants. So maybe I don't need to point out the fountain behind us to start a drought tolerant plant discussion, but it's a bit funny. Here, though, is a formal garden where traditionally we have done annual bedding plants using annuals that had high water demands. And I wanted to show you what's in the four corners of this bed, the purple and white colors behind us. A very drought tolerant annual, which is Angelonia. The three colors that you see are Odessa white, Odessa purple, and Odessa bicolor. But it actually is a nice change from the high water demands of most traditionally used annuals.
So you brought us up on this hill, and I know these two plants, it's Rudbeckia, and you also have a miscanthus there.
The grass. And well, Dave, you may notice we're standing in the middle of a roadway. This is a traffic island behind us. It's bounded by three sides of pavement. And there aren't too many more places as inhospitable to plants as traffic islands. The road absorbs heat and builds up heat. The soil beneath that is limited, and yet we found two plants that could take those conditions. We don't water them, we don't do anything for them. They get buried under snow in the winter, and they come back every year.
So Dennis, what is this? It's very skinny.
That tree is so distinct looking. It's the Serbian spruce. It's native to the Balkans and from the mountains up there, and by the way, it is also extremely drought tolerant. We love it because it's architecturally a very interesting plant, but sure enough, it is also very drought tolerant.
Beautiful. Well, Dennis, I'm not sure exactly what all these plants are, but I know the bees don't care. They're quite happy here.
They are. I wanted to show you this because this is an attempt to, in a very small way, demonstrate a traditional herb garden, which in the European tradition were often laid out in formal rows or geometric shapes. But the kinds of plants that we find in herb gardens are almost all adapted to, or many of them, the Mediterranean summers. The thyme, rosemary, the hyssop, sage, and arnica down here. These things can take the very dry summers. This plant is more familiar on the West Coast, but here on the East it's actually perfectly hardy. This is the Sequoiadendron giganteum from California. It can take the cold winters, but it can also take the hot and dry summers.
So Dennis, you know, this has been an interesting afternoon. You've taken me around to a lot of different places, and we've seen a lot of drought-tolerant plants, and we end up here. And you and I were talking, getting ready to do this segment of the shoot, about how this used to be a really different setting, didn't it?
It sure did. This is the flagpole garden, and traditionally where we're standing was yet another bed where probably 200 annuals were set out each year. The traditional red geraniums or begonias and that sort of thing. It's now, as you can see, completely different. Drought-tolerant plants run the whole spectrum of herbaceous to woody, low shrub, low-growing to medium and tall-growing plants. And what we've seen today is really just a sampling.
And you know, folks, when you're trying at home to conserve water and conserve our natural resources, one of the ways in which you can help do that is by slowly changing over some of the plants to some of these more drought-tolerant ones. So in time, as your plants die or you want to make changes to your own garden, replace them with some of the things that we've shown you today and continue to do your own research to find other drought-tolerant plants that work in your area. Dennis, thanks a lot. This was great. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Come back every week for all of our videos at Growing Wisdom.